How does the matching work? Let's look at this. So the agency matching program under FERS, the employee contributes 0. The match is 1%. Total going in there is 1% of your annual salary. If you're contributing 1% as an employee, the match is 2%. Total going in, that's 3%. If you're doing 3%, the match is 4. You got 7 going in. If you're doing anything less than 5%, you're leaving money on the table. You're leaving money on the table. So if you're doing 3%, you're leaving 4% of your annual salary on the table. So 5% you're putting in, 5% match, you got 10%. A tithe, it's not quite tithe, but it is 10%. So remember, the agency match is per pay period. That's a per pay period benefit. So you should be able to look at your pay stub, see what you're contributing, and it does have the percentage that you're contributing to the top right underneath of where your comp time is and those dates. And then you can look below your contributions and see exactly what the match is for you. It should be listed there. And in the one-on-one, if you have your leave and earning statement, we'll show you and go through those things. So here are the types of funds that are inside of your TSP. There's the G fund, the F, the C, the S, the I, the L. Before you is what each fund represents. A lot of employees that I meet with are in the G fund, especially now because they recently announced that the G fund is at the highest fixed rate it's ever been. It was 4%. And a lot of employees we've spoken to, or I've spoken to, about that specifically. But these are the different funds. The G fund is the one where you can't lose anything. The C, the S, the F, the I, if you have money there, it's volatile. It is in the market. So if the market goes up, you can benefit. But the market goes down, you will lose. That is how the market works. So inside of the L fund, where a lot of employees, where it's kind of like a set it and forget it mentality for the employees that I meet with that have the L fund, it's recalculated every day the closer you get to retirement. And so an employee that's looking to come out in 2025 may choose the life cycle 2025, and they'll allocate your account value or the amount that you contribute to the L fund this way. So 54.27% will go into the G fund, 6.12% will go into the F, 20.57% will go into the C fund. For the S, it'll be 5.17%, and for the I will be 13.87%. This is what the life cycle 2025 would look like. And as you see, because 2025 is much closer to 2023 than 2045, you can see there's a significant amount of money more going to the G fund than with the 2045 life cycle, where we have 15.41%. So if you're thinking to come out, well, I've got another 20 years, 25 years, you can elect Lifestyle 2045, and it will reallocate your contribution, your account value, based on these dates getting closer. So with the 45, you've got G fund at 15.41%. You've got the I fund at 26.86%. The C fund is at 39.10. So if you have the L fund, this is how it's set up to work. And you can really get a gauge if you go to your TSP site and you click on funds, L fund, and you can click on each one, and it'll actually show you the chart with how it will be allocated per one. In the one-on-ones with the number of employees, we've sat and looked at this, and employees select, now that they have understanding on what would work best for them. There are 3 things that you can control within your thrift savings plan. 3 things. One is the power of time. The power of time. So now I don't see it so much, but 20 years ago, I've been doing this for 34 years. So 24 years ago, I can go with 24 years ago. 24 years ago, when I met with employees, they weren't enrolling in, maximizing their contributions. They didn't have the information. They were just, doing a small number. Some do 2%, 3%. People didn't really understand the power of time. If you start your plan as soon as you come in, 10 years at an $85,000 annual salary, and you contribute 5%, you're getting that 5% match, again, leaving no money on the table. 2% COLA, the return rate of 5%, your balance after 10 years will be $118,000. If you do that for 20 years, you kept everything the same, it would be $338,000. If you do it for 30 years, nothing's changed. That's $728,000. Now, some employees looking at this like, I wish. If you have the time and you do this, you won't have to wish. These are real numbers. All we're looking at is the power of time, and it's real. Let's go to the next thing we can control. The power of contribution, how much we're putting in. Look at this. Same salary, annual income, $85,000. Now, in most cases, your salary not going to stay the same, so that's going to change anyway. But everything's staying the same. 2% COLA. Look at the contribution. First example, 5% going in. Same rate of return, $728,000. Okay? 85, 2%, 10% contribution. Same rate of return, $1 million. Third, with a 15% contribution, almost $1.5 million. These are real numbers. I meet with employees who have done this and are doing this. This is real. Make the contribution a priority, and you will realize the difference. The older you will appreciate this wise decision you make. So here's how you can max out. We got the power of time. We got the power of contribution. Now let's look at this. The power of compound interest. Oh, it's so wonderful. We use this compound, but it doesn't work rebound to our account as it relates to our homes. So this is not new. Look at this. Earning $85,000 a year, COLA is the same at 2%, contribution is the same, 5%, the match is the same at 5%, rate of return, 3%, 5%, 8%. Look at the difference. The first example, $531,000 from a 3% return. Gaining a 5% return, that's $728,000. Averaging an 8% return, that's $1.2 million. Now, what if all of that could happen at the same time? The power of time, the power of contribution, and the power of compound interest, all working for our benefit. Let's look at what that looks like. It's called trifecta. That's what I call it. $85,000 annual salary, 2% COLA, contributing 15%. Matches 5%, because that's not going to change. That's what the government is giving you. The rate of return, 8%. Balance after 30 years of service, $2.4 million. There's somebody saying, nobody got that in their thrift savings plan. Let me tell you, yes, there are employees with $2.4 million in their thrift savings plan. You can schedule a one-on-one, map it out with an expert, a benefits specialist, exactly what we do, map that plan out, and do your annual checks with the benefits representative. That's what we're here for.